Good morning, everybody. It's Danny Bovey. I know it has been months since I came and did a video, and today is just, I'm feeling inspired. It's a snow day, it's cold, and I'm cozy up in the house all day. And so, yeah, I've just been reflecting on how my life has been lately and just realizing that my last video really highlighted the anxiety that I had gone through for a very long time and how that was kind of my mental state a lot of the times. But I just wanted to come in here and update you guys because a lot has changed in my life. A lot of new things have happened to me and a lot of breakthrough and mainly just a lot of shift in perspective. And yeah, I just wanted to come in and update you on my grief process. And now that it's been a bit of time, so let's go. The first update is that I'm growing out my bangs, which is, they're in the awkward like length. So if I do this a lot, that's why. It's been 6 years or 5 years since I've had bangs, and so this is just, I'm trying something new, and then if I hate it, I'll just cut them right back. So that's one change. The biggest change in my life recently is our second little baby that's growing inside of me. So that's another reason why I didn't make this video for a long time, is because I just waited until like way later in the pregnancy. So I am almost 17 weeks along, which is exciting. And that's why I also wanted to come in here and update you guys, because with that comes a lot of emotions, as you can probably guess, but also a lot of excitement. And yeah, so I'm pregnant, yay! So this is my big 16.5-week belly. I think I have a big belly because I have such a short torso and there's nowhere else for this baby to go. But yeah, that's the bump. So I really want to tell you guys, just a whole life update is basically what this video is for. I've been pregnant since, well, they're counting it from July 7th. So yeah, it's been a long time. We actually found out we were having this baby 6 months to the day after I had Charles. So since I became pregnant on July 7th and I found out I was pregnant on August 1st, that's 3 weeks gestational age is what they call it. And that's extremely early to find out you're pregnant. I think it's like the earliest you could possibly, like, and usually like your hormones aren't even up enough to detect it. I found out I was pregnant with Charles about 4.5 weeks. And with this baby, I found out at 3 weeks. And I believe the reason I found out is because I had a dream. If you guys know me well, I'm a dreamer and I have like vivid dreams. Just, I can really trust my dreams to tell me a lot about my life, and God uses them to speak to me. And so when I had this dream that I like, the dream was so straightforward. I took a pregnancy test, it was positive and it was like shining, and I just woke up like, oh my gosh. But I was so nervous because I didn't want to get my hope, like I was so excited and nervous and just like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? And I just told Nick about my dream. He's like, okay, well, let's take a pregnancy test. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, what if, well, we were both just like, well, what if it's negative now because it's so early, it's 3 weeks. Like most pregnancy tests can't even detect a baby until like 4 weeks, but you can get those like early detection ones. So we got an early detection one, or I think we even had one just like in our bathroom from my previous pregnancy. And I just decided to take it that day because I was going on family vacation that day. So we just took it at 5 a.m. and it was positive, and we took another one and it was positive, and we were like, ah, like screaming and like so excited. It was not like fear at all, just joy. And that's kind of been a testament to how this whole pregnancy has been. There have, of course, been times of fear, but 99% of the time has been joy, hope, and it's just like this, what I would describe as the peace that surpasses all understanding, because I've just been blessed with that for this pregnancy. And so, yeah, it just started with this beautiful, joyful celebration with me and Nick at 5 a.m. And Brianna, my sister, was living with me, and she actually woke up and was wondering why we were so happy at 5 a.m. Why are you guys up this early? So yeah, we found out super early, which is a blessing, but also a not blessing, because then you have to, like, the first trimester feels so long when you know you're pregnant at 3 weeks and you have to make it, like, I don't know, it just felt like an eternity. When I was at 3 weeks, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get through? Because when I was pregnant with Charles, I was like a wreck during the first trimester. I thought each day was my last day, and like of him being there, and like it was interesting how I was so fearful in the first trimester with Charles, and then I ended up losing him way into my second trimester. And then with this baby, I almost like, I have this mentality of like, whatever is gonna happen will happen. And it's like a different approach, because like even like through therapy, I've been learning how to let go of control. And I think this pregnancy has been a great practice time for that. And so I started a gratitude, like daily gratitude during those first couple of weeks, and I try to continue it now. And I also started to pray for the baby every day. And it just made me feel like this is what I can do. This is a very positive and healthy way to trust God, and just I wasn't even praying like in a begging, don't take this baby from me kind of way. I was more just praying in a thank you for this baby. Bless this baby as it's getting its little hands today, or it's like its hands are like getting their fingers, or what else? I think at this point in the pregnancy, that has all like the major organs, but every time, because I would follow the pregnancy each week, and each week it would get like a new organ or like limb that's growing, and I would just bless that or think about that. So I think just having those practices has been really positive, and as you can probably see, I'm just a lot more positive right now. Of course, I have had some times of serious fear and anxiety, but those are fleeting. Like I'll have nights where I'll just get like attacked by negativity and evil and doom. But really, I've become a lot more confident in God's power this year, and just his power to transform, because I feel like I have made such a huge transformation as a person. And this is just, a lot of people are wondering if I'm ready to have a baby yet again, or man, I thought you were gonna wait like years and years because of how traumatic everything was. And I was thinking about that, and yeah, I can see where people would think that, but we were so ready to have a baby when Charles was born. Like waiting 3 years felt like torture to even have that hope and dream again. And so this year was a lot of work on gaining hope and just trust in the Father's timing. And so when we got pregnant again, I was like, okay, it's perfect. Like I'm just trusting that this is perfect timing. And so yeah, I've just been a lot more happy, a lot more positive. And it's interesting also because Nick was wondering, okay, when we get pregnant again, are you going to be an anxiety ball, like wreck all the time? And I told him, like, I don't know. At a point in my life last spring, yes, I would say I was in a place where I could not function very well. And so it wasn't, there was a time where I thought I was pregnant in like May or June, and I was like, I'm not ready. Like, no. And then like, it's amazing. 3 months later, I'm like, I'm in a different place. I'm mentally so much more stable. It's beautiful. So yeah, I have been living anxiety-free, basically fear-free, and trying to my best to just maintain this like joy that surpasses all understanding, because it's in me. I can feel there's this peace about me, but it is very mysterious because I'm living in a very precarious situation right now. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about all the details that have gone into this pregnancy that has caused me some of that fear and anxiety. So one way that this pregnancy has been different than most pregnancies probably, or at least my previous pregnancy, is that I'm now considered high risk, and I have been diagnosed, as I already told you, with cervical insufficiency, which is, I'll just explain it again. It's where the cervix just, it's supposed to be closed the whole time you're pregnant until about like 38 to 42 weeks pregnant. And then people that have cervical insufficiency, you can't really tell you have it until it's basically either too late or you're like in an emergency situation. But your cervix basically just opens halfway through the pregnancy with basically no signs. So it's called, well, some people call it like a ghost labor. Your cervix just dilates quietly. You don't have cramps or contractions until later along when the baby's actually coming out. And so when I had that whole experience, they definitely put me in that group because it was like by the book what happened to me. So going into this pregnancy, I switched doctors because I just didn't really get along with my previous doctor very well, and I didn't feel very well taken care of. And I'm not blaming him for what happened because no one could have like done anything different at that point because he was treating me as if I was perfectly normal. But it was just like maybe the way he approached me afterwards and just the way our personalities, yeah, it just didn't work out. So luckily I got this amazing doctor that I love a lot, and I feel like I can ask her a million questions and she never feels rushed or, you know, she's just happy to sit there and help me out in all my questions. So I started going to the doctor super early, and I've already had, let's see, I am 16 weeks, and usually people have like maybe one ultrasound by now, maybe. Some people only get their first ultrasound when they're 20 weeks. And I've had 5 ultrasounds, and I've had like 3 cervical checks, and I've been to the doctor a lot for blood work, just to make sure I don't have any like genetic diseases or disorders that could, you know, just kind of hinder my process this time. And so I've been to the doctor a lot, and luckily I love my doctor, and she's really comforting. She is just like, what I really first noticed about her that I love is that she sings while she works. She like hums and whistles, and it just, to me, it just shows that she's really loving what she does, and she's just a happy person, and I just need that in my life. So, and she's very positive. Like when I come to her crying about, like literally crying, she just gives me a Kleenex and like comforts me and says, you know, everything's gonna be okay, baby's gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay. And she's just very positive and reinforcing instead of being too professional, which I like. So that's my doctor. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of ultrasounds. One of the things that happened during my first week was just some scary bleeding that we can't like literally still can't explain, but it was for like multiple weeks, and I freaked out. Obviously I just thought I was having a miscarriage, and the first time it happened was literally the day school started. So I'm a high school teacher, and the day school started, it was 30 minutes before class, and I started bleeding, and I don't know how I like functioned throughout that day, and just like, because the first day of school you have to be so happy, like, oh, welcome, I'm so happy, and like inside I'm like dying. So that was a really hard day. But yeah, I had some of that during the whole first trimester. And then luckily that ended. And then another thing that I had to go through, or anyone pretty much that has cervical insufficiency goes through, is called a cervical cerclage, which is a surgical procedure. And I was originally going to get that done this week or last week, which is like 15 or 16 weeks. And I actually felt really uneasy about it. And I kept having like almost like this sense that I should ask my doctor if we could do it sooner, because the later you are in pregnancy, the more dangerous the cerclage is for your baby because they're bigger. And I'll kind of explain what it is. I won't give too many details, but so I called my doctor and I asked if I could do this procedure as early as possible just to get it because it's preventative. I was like, I just want to have it so I can like live in peace of state of mind, like I've done everything. And basically what the cerclage is it's a stitch that sews your cervix shut for the entirety of your pregnancy. So I think the earliest doctors do it is like 13 weeks because it's the end of your first trimester, and they check to make sure the baby is like viable, healthy looking, and just like good to go. And then they sew it up in there, and they just leave that stitch in until 38 weeks, or I think they actually might take it out at 37 weeks. And then some people have their baby like the same day, some people have their baby a couple days later, and some people go past their due date. So it just kind of depends on your body and how it reacts after your stitch comes out. People with cervical insufficiency typically have really fast and progressive labors, which is kind of a blessing when you're ready for it to happen, when the baby's fully developed. So those have been the main things. Is I go to the doctor a lot. I've gotten a lot of blood work done, and I got surgery. So everything that could be done has been done, and now I'm just resting. Oh, that's another thing. There's a lot of things I have to like alter like lifestyle wise for this pregnancy. And the other thing is I have to leave my job, which is so like, it's a loss in itself. I'm not sure if this is like I'm leaving for good or if I'm coming back next year. Right now I'm on a leave of absence for this year, so I could come back. They are saving my spot for me. So that is very nice of them. I have to take all this time off because I can't stand for 8 hours a day, and that just wouldn't be the best idea if you're trying to keep from your cervix opening. Even with the cerclage, it can still dilate and I don't know if it can dilate, but it can definitely shorten. The goal of the cerclage is just to keep it shut. And so, you know, gravity is really not your friend when you have this condition, because the reason, you know, it could happen even if you were on bed rest, but gravity is just not helping. And so I'm going on light activity for like 5 months starting next week. So I'm going to leave my choir teaching job, and it's going to great hands. I'm not worried about that at all. Like, an amazing sub is coming in, and I'm just going to take time to not be working 8 hours a day. And it's not strict bed rest. It's more just moderating how much time I'm spending vertical versus horizontal. So it's like up, down all day. No like crazy hiking or lifting, obviously. I can still go to the grocery store and stuff, but it's definitely altering my lifestyle because I'm used to being like a go type of person constantly, so that's why I had to leave. Just a few more things I wanted to add is that, first of all, I forgot to tell you my due date, which is April 12th, 2020. And so April baby, it just feels so hopeful and spring, and yeah, but the cerclage is coming out in March, so who knows? It could be any time in March, baby, also. So that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. And also I'm really excited that this light activity phase is in the winter, not in the summer, because I'm not allowed to do like hiking or basically any crazy physical activity. And so it's kind of nice that, you know, this is like the lazy season where you just kind of cozy up and read books, and yeah, so I'm feeling good about that. As you can probably tell, I'm just a lot more myself recently. I think God has done some amazing healing in my life. It's really hard to explain, but through my dreams, through my prayers, I've done therapy once a week since like March. I've just been really steady with that. I've started doing like deeper prayer work, and I've been leading worship a lot, and I think these habits of, you know, actively trying to become better, not like that I can perform better, but that I just feel more myself, because my identity is in God, my identity is in my spirit, which is, you know, my emotions get really in the way of that, and my mortal body functioning gets in the way of like that peace that passes all understanding. But that I put as my actual forefront, my identity now is my spirit person, that woman that is the true me, the everlasting me. I really put her in the foreground of having say of who I am and like how I am. And so literally I've just been so different, like no anxiety, no panic. I even just flew in a plane this weekend and I wasn't too scared. Like I had a couple moments, but I was fine. Like, do you guys remember when I was going to Europe and I was freaking out because I thought we were gonna die? Yeah, so it's been a season of putting my spirit identity in front of my just my mind, my emotions, my all of that gets in the way. I try to line those up with the truth, which is a lot more steady than the emotions. I have been really thinking about Charles a lot during this pregnancy. I look at pictures of him all the time and I love that boy and it's such an interesting journey that I'm on because without what happened to Charles happening, and I would just have this baby boy right now, without all that happening, I would not have this other baby, and it's just a very weird feeling to think like that. God works in really mysterious ways, and my life has been very mysterious, and I'm just kind of trying to trust and go with the flow and just maintain that joy that is really true and authentic inside of me. So yeah, can't really explain why, but I'm trusting. That's all I can do. So the grief has been there, but it hasn't been crippling anxiety or this doom feeling that I felt for so long. It's been more just like times of sadness, times of remembering, and times of joy and hope. So one last thing, I know this is probably the longest video of eternity, but I just wanted to get it all in. One last thing is that for this time of light activity, when I leave my job, I'm really gonna try to be really intentional with my time, because I realize how much of a gift it is to have 5 months before I become a mom to a screaming all the time, needing me all the time baby, to have that time of like me time. I know how much of a blessing it is, I think, and so I'm gonna try to not take that for granted. And so for the next 5 months, like starting next week, I'm gonna really try to limit, even fast from like media, like technology. I don't want to just become like a Netflix binger or get on Facebook all day every day, because I'm there and like I really want to like dive deep into the Word of God and really just, I don't know, see what He has for me in this season of preparing to be that mother, and yeah, just whatever grief I need to go through in the 5 months, I'm ready. Like, there's not going to be any distractions. There's not going to be school to just clog my head with like plans and all this to-dos, but now I don't have any to-dos except be and feel. And you know, it can be nerve-wracking to be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with myself? Am I going to go crazy? But I have this really good sense that I'm not going to go crazy. It's going to be a very healthy time for me. And so what I want to do though is, even though I'm limiting my like Facebook and Instagram and definitely Netflix time, I really want to still do videos. I want to like update maybe even weekly on just like the pregnancy. I think it's really cute when people do like pregnancy updates and then do like a gender reveal. I'm getting to know the gender in 2 weeks, so I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm just dying. So yeah, we get to do that, and so I really want to like keep everyone updated through video, because I really enjoyed like verbally processing like this, and I think it'll be fun to look back on and have this like birth story in video form. I didn't post like during my first trimester, which I kind of wish I did, or even videotape. Like it was rough as far as like my physical being, but I'm feeling good and I'm really excited about this season. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you maybe next week for my update on how it's going on light activity. All right, bye.